Do you want to become a permanent part of the channel? Check out the Alliteration Gaming Patreon. Here you'll find different tiers that all let you get involved in my videos, as well as provide you with a shout out, exclusive Discord access, and the ability to see my content early and ad free. Now, if you're new here, you're gonna need an account on the UGN site. This will let you sign up for events, locate stores near you, and of course, accrue those redemption points to use in the loyalty shop. You can even snag yourself 50 bonus points right now if you let me refer you. Until August 30th, when you're signing up, just click on Content Creator and type my channel name in the box. Regardless of how you do it though, thanks for being part of the Alliteration Nation. Now, let's get on to the video. Good evening, my dear viewers. Welcome to another Alliteration Gaming video. My name's Levi and it is deck commission time. Me taking a look at LockLock, courtesy of Thomas Redman. Put me on some wonderful knowledge that Razor Deluge looks for a card to leave our card pool, and Deadbolt does just that. And so this Earth LockLock deck came to be. LockLock is a character that honestly I'm really into. He's as a character card, I should say, anime wise, manga wise, series wise, literally the most unlikable dude in the arc, maybe even the whole series. Guy is actually just the worst, just complains and complains until getting his butt saved by what he's complaining about. I love it. But in-game wise, this guy's really cool because he gets to freeze things. Freeze is one of my favorite mechanics in our card game, and I feel like it's used very little, very seldomly, and rarely in very powerful forms. So I think it's a mechanic that can get very out of hand super easily, because freezing your rival's foundations is super duper powerful. It's kind of like stun one twice, right? When you freeze it, it says it's going to be committed during your turn when you're attacking into me, like an electric jolt, but then also when I go back into my turn to attack you, it's also committed. So a freeze, granted, if the foundation is already committed, is really strong. Now, if you commit and freeze it, that's like stun one 3 times, right? And that's really crazy. Now, LockLock only freezes things, but he also does draw a lot of cards. And what does commit and freeze things is Deadbolt here. Commit and freeze 2 things, or just all copies of one thing. Then it leaves your card pool because we're LockLock. This card's insane. We're running a pretty tight 60 card deck. I honestly wish it could be a little less, but there's a lot of cool tech pieces I wanted to play in here, especially within my attacks. I really wanted to like streamline them. But I think there's certainly worlds where you could just play a 50 card deck with 4 Deadbolts. So a 54 card deck, like a normal 50, throw in 4 Deadbolts, and then you just full send it because you want to draw this card every single turn. It makes you an 8 hand size character. It's effectively stun one on a foundation 3 times across 2 foundations or even assets, and then it's just so good. And it syncs up really well with our attacks. So we have the Razor Deluge here, which asks for a card to leave our card pool. Now, unfortunately, this card is arranged, which means that LockLock cannot freeze things when this hits them. But it's okay because they probably want to block this thing anyway because they're going to have to lose some health. But this, it's only a 2 of in here because it's just kind of, we want to see this late game, and we want to see this when we draw Deadbolt late game as well, just to put that card in that card pool and kind of be like a bit of a pseudo finisher. If it wasn't ranged, I'd probably just be playing 4 of this just because like we can just Hail Mary it. Even when we're not drawing Deadbolt, like whatever, just send it. It's just super fine, but because it's ranged, I only really want to see when I'm trying to finish the rival. Same thing with something like Hardened Uppercut. These are kind of our moves that just kind of help us close out the game. This gets really fast. We have a bunch of throws in this deck, so we're going to get a lot of momentum with our EX. We can make this super fast and super scary. We're the Earth symbol, so our foundations flip like crazy. But finishing games, I feel like I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let's talk about our early game a little bit, and that's going to come in the form of our stun moves. We got, of course, the almighty Back Alley Haymaker. It's going to stun 2, and the almighty Lock Down, Knock Down, Jesus freaking Christ, man, which effectively just like says stun 2. He has this other move that also kind of says stun 2, but that one's a big 5 diff, and it's very mid, and I do not like that move. This one I do not like very much either, but the thing is, LockLock, on the turns that you're not deadbolting them, or even like when you are deadbolting them, because the ones you're going to commit are the frozen ones, right? So when it comes to freezing with LockLock, he doesn't commit and freeze, he just freezes. So you have to get it committed somehow. So if they didn't aggress into you and commit their foundations going into your turn, you have to find a way to get them committed as well as you hit them. So obviously the stun moves go a long way, as well as just Back Alley being, you know, just huge. Lockdown, honestly, the only other like real like cheap stun option on the Earth symbol is Arctic Conflagration, but that's arranged, so can't do it. This card's just in here, so we have like 6 stun moves, and then on the other side of things, we have 6 throws. We have 6 overhead reversals and then 2 fat grapples because once again, LockLock does not say non-throw, it just says non-ranged. So we can send our throws in, and granted our rival already has some committed foundations, the guaranteed damage from these is going to help us freeze some stuff along the way. Ideally, you kind of want to go like stun move into a throw, and that's like your poke turn, right? That's basically your poke turn. And then lastly, we're playing 3 calorie counters. 3 calorie counters because our rival's going to block us a ton because they don't want us freezing their stuff. Also, this card's just super good. We get to flip things, which is really nice as well. So like we get to freeze, commit and freeze things we don't like, and then go and flip things that we also don't like. Feels very nice. Our throws are also like really good too. This one is just a really big damage throw, and overhead builds our zeros, which we have very good ones. That being said, that's going to bring us over to our foundations here. We have a bunch of really good zeros. It can't be fixed, tight lip, saving Bakugo. These are all just fantastic cards. And they kind of round out our block zones as well. We're, strangely enough, a little low on mids in this deck, which is kind of funny. But we do have a pair of Monstrous Ferocity to help that out. We get to block with this mid block from our stage. You could also play the new LockLock Foundation that mid blocks things from your stage, or rather, you block with it, and then when it's in your stage, you can block with your other foundations from your, you block with it when it's in your card pool, you can flip it to block with a thing from your stage as a mid block, which is kind of cumbersome. I like that I can just build this mid block and then it'll be there if I ever need it. The rest of our spams are pretty simple. Snack time lets us do stun things when we're not drawing lockdown or back alley. Being able to go like, okay, open a throw, snack time for a speed and stun one, hit them with the throw, freeze the stun thing. On your turn, I'll now draw that. That's rude. On your turn, I'll now draw that card back. The card I discarded for snack time, I get it right back, and it was all a very free exchange. So snack time very good in this deck, as well as just always being very good. This is like 80% just like a good Earth symbol pile of cards because the Earth symbol is so good. But there's definitely a lot of like LockLock stuff here as well. Chivalrous because it's chivalrous. I'll protect you because Earth really struggles for speed. I would honestly prefer to maybe play like high value targets or more strength of a pros, but we kind of need the mid blocks from here. Kirishima's assistance is super nice in this deck because we really hate getting face shielded. We don't want our throwers face shielded ever. Unfortunately, Fat Grapple will still get face shielded because it is a mid. But overhead, we're not going to get face shielded, which is pretty nice. Maybe even an argument to play other Earth throw that's not mid. The Abara one that picks up Faith Shield, I don't really care to play Faith Shield in this deck, but that could be an avenue to explore there. I just think Fat Grapple is so good, man. 8 damage throw is just really good. Taking the gloves off is kind of cool in our deck because it flips committed things so that we can just say, hey, Deadbolt, commit and freeze your thing, and then also now I'll flip it, that way I don't have to worry about it past the next couple turns either. Stare Down is more freeze in our deck. Freeze is just so valuable because while LockLock can only freeze 2 things a turn, he's gonna draw a card for every committed foundation. Meaning if you deadbolt and then get his 2 responses off, you're gonna draw 4 cards. A Stare Down can be another card there, which is really good. Web of Blades is like the freest one of. We have a bunch of puny little attacks because we're playing throws and stuff like that. So Web of Blades can usually be pretty online, especially if they're trying to like, you know, like spooky our throws or something like that. We're very protective of our throws in this deck. They trigger our response, which makes our entire character tick, which is very important. We talked about Monstrous Ferocity. It's just a very solid card. I've been like 1-ofing, 2-ofing this in like every deck on these 3 symbols. This card's just super handy, even when you don't have the Overhaul Breaker 1 part of it. Strength of a Pro is probably the best speed reduction in the Earth symbol right now. It doesn't come in until you need it, but that's kind of fine. And then it also has a really sick heal ability that's playable while committed. I think this card's really good, and I like jamming it in a lot of my Earth and Fire decks. Good, kind of has better sources of speed reduction, but for Earth and Fire, this card was honestly quite a godsend. And then we have a singular Soul Piercing Glare. It's a cute one of. I don't think we have a single. Oh no, we have a couple Furies. We have Uppercut and Calorie Counter for Fury, so we can do some card pool clearing action, but mostly this is there for commit, flip a commit, arrival foundation. Just like we were talking about taking the gloves off, this just says every time I deadbolt you, I'm also going to get to just commit this and flip one of those things. Or when I send in, you know, the flurry of stun that is in my deck, you're gonna have to stun the good ones at some point, and I'm just gonna get to flip them. And then Proud Scion is the best card in this deck. I'm a huge Proud Scion gamer. I freaking adore this card. It says after your rival start phase, you get to commit one of their foundations with an ability that grants a speed speed bonus or penalty. There is like not a symbol in the game that doesn't have a staple like that, right? Like your specialist of sounds, your heroic lineages, your snack times, your pull no punches, like your think fasts. There's just so many things, guys, that grant a speed bonus or penalty. It's your basic trainings, literally your basic trainings, your easily excited, like it's just all over the place. So it's really easy. And what's so crazy about this card is after your rival start phase, so you get to use Proud Scion when they start their turn, and then once they hit their combat phase after that, that's when LockLock gets to come in. So this card, like a commit, both of us committing one during your turn is already a profitable exchange for the Proud Scion player, right? Because we're both going to commit one. I'm down one on the defense, you're down one on the offense. Now it's my turn. Hey, that thing is still committed, so you're also down one on the defense. So it's like I commit one for you to commit two, just spread over 2 different turn cycles, right? Which is already a very, very good exchange. That's why this is the 3 diff that checks up, has a +4 low block. This card's very, very good. But then it also just says that then you draw a card because we're in a LockLock deck. And I think that is very, very, very awesome. Earth and Order really feel like the way to go for this guy just because of this card. Also, it's got a crazy good deadlock. I will say, deadlocks in this deck are probably very, very important because if you look at the word deadlock, it's actually got lock in the name, right? So it's very good for jokes aside. The way to like fight this guy, especially like a LockLock deck trying to, you know, freeze you and commit you out this much, is you gotta just build to 1,000,000 foundations to where like a deadbolt is like not an impactful play anymore. You have to build to a point where deadbolt is not a very impactful play. And you do that by just building to 1,000,000 foundations. So that's when like those really, really nice deadlocks like the Fat Grapple come in. Having a couple snack times on board also really, really turns them off from deadlock. And then the Proud Scions are great too because again, once you're in that late game state where a Proud Scion also isn't a very impactful play, arguable because it's always going to draw a card with LockLock, but in the event it also has a really crazy deadlock response to cancel their thing and flip their thing. Once again, Six got a lot of ways to really address your rival's board. I've been considering playing like apathetics and seizing the advantage and stuff, more taking the gloves off and just going for like a full flip route. Basically saying we're like, I'm just going to try to flip you to the point where you only have 2 relevant foundations, and those are my ones I'm deadbolting every turn, and be really annoying. I think you could go that route. This is kind of a little bit more of a streamlined LockLock deck, I would say. But that's it, guys. That's it for this little deck tech here. It's a clean 60, 22, 17, 21, very balanced block zones. We're the Earth symbol. We get all of the nice things here. I think there's a ton of cool stuff to do with this guy. I think he's very awesome on Order as well, where you just play like every card that says, you know, commit and or freeze a thing, the electric jolts and all that jazz. Just a bunch of cool stuff for this guy to do. The birth of this idea was definitely Thomas going, yo, Razor Deluge works with Deadbolt, which is really sick. Unfortunately, it's kind of more like a tech finisher play in this deck, but I think it's still very gnarly. And honestly, if you want to more commit to it, by all means, the point of these is for you to take the concept and run with it in your own personal way. And so this is just my personal way. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks again to Thomas for commissioning this bad boy from me. And if you want one just like it, if you want to send a mission to create a deck to me, or even if you want to just like one-on-one build with me one way or another, check out my Patreon, link down below. Got a bunch of different ways for you to interact with my content in those ways exactly. That's going to be it for this video, though. I appreciate you making it all the way to the end of it, and I hope I can see you in the next one.